Now, please welcome the members of the graduating class of 2019.
Good morning, and welcome to the Class of 2019 graduation ceremony. Thank you parents, grandparents, guardians, family, friends, teachers, and administrators for being here for such an important milestone. All of you are here because you played a significant role in bringing these students to the place they are today. My name is Jeff Walsh. Over the past 4 years, I have had the pleasure of getting to know the graduating class both as a teacher and as their class advisor. Seems like it was just yesterday that I was a graduate watching my class advisor, Mr. Marr. He gave an amazing speech. I remember thinking, I'm sure glad I don't have to do that. 12 years later, here I am, and there's Mr. Marr. It's like nothing's changed except for the hair count. When I took the job as class advisor, I was really excited about the position, but terrified of the day that I'd have to give this speech. I'm thinking public speaking classes with Mr. Shaler would have really paid off right now. To begin brainstorming ideas for this speech, I logged on to HWCAM.org for inspiration from previous advisors. Everyone had a fantastic speech, and most of them focused on what they taught in one way or another. So I started to think about what I teach. Maybe I could talk about the basics of woodworking, like don't cut off your fingers, or don't drink the wood glue. Isn't that right, Mike? No, I needed a bigger inspiration. Then I started to think about the students and the amazing things they've accomplished over the 4 short years. And I realized if I'm going to be inspired by anything or anyone, it's going to be these students in front of me today. When the class of 2019 walked into the building in August of 2015, there was a feeling of fear as they entered unknown territory. But it wasn't long before they turned that fear into ambition. The class didn't want to sit back as the older students ran the school. They wanted to jump right into everything, even if it meant taking a risk and potentially failing. Failing, such an interesting word. Everyone always thinks of failing as such a bad thing. but the only way that you can fail is if you try. Now, I don't believe that this senior class has failed in any endeavors. In fact, I believe quite the opposite. The class brought the school together in so many amazing ways. As freshmen, they created one of the greatest school raffles ever, the Super Sports Raffle. That same year, they raised hundreds of dollars to support kids battling cancer, while convincing a number of teachers to shave their head for the cause. Junior year is when everything really started to fall into place. The class beat the seniors in the homecoming Powder Puff football game. Despite being a friendly game of flag football, Billy Santamena was making contact like it was a UFC title match. They had the snack shack running like a machine, hot dogs flying off the grill and popcorn kernels popping by the buckets. But what really set the snack shack experience apart from the other classes was the refrigerator. Or should I say, Emily's fridge. I've never seen something so well stocked and organized. It was making the disbursement of beverages absolutely flawless. Everything came together senior year. They brought homecoming back to the gym, disco ball and all, took the class to a Red Sox game, a Six Flags trip, and had a beautiful prom overlooking the ocean at the Beauport Hotel. Talk about going out with a bang. All these opportunities that came about throughout your high school career happened because you were willing to take a risk, a chance on an idea, even if it meant possible failure. Now, as you move on to the next chapter of your life, remember to take a chance. You will be presented with many opportunities as you travel down the path of life. Make the most of those opportunities and don't be afraid to fail. As Robert F. Kennedy said, only those who dare to fail greatly can never achieve greatly. There is no limit to who you can become and what you can do. The only person that can set that limit is you. Every day I worked with this class, I learned more about them. I discovered that this is a class that has, as their shirt says, no limits. They're ambitious, smart, talented, caring, and kind. I could stand here for hours and tell you something amazing about each individual, but unfortunately, I don't have time to do that. I would, however, like to give you a quick snapshot of some of their amazing accomplishments. As freshmen, Will and Nick Glovsky started a volunteer group called Generals for Generations, which helped the Council on Aging for 1 hour every week, starting their freshman year, going through their senior year. Ben Gingrich designs, creates, and uses his own surfboards that he makes in his garage. Sean Lee and Richard Paul started the Robotics Club, which directly impacted over 100 people. Aidan Daly earned league MVP for the golf team 3 years in a row. The pottery in the art hallway that looks like it came out of a magazine, that was actually created by Margaret Brown. Dimitri Lara and Michael Moynihan, they created a 400-pound amphibious vehicle which carried them across Patton Pond without completely sinking. This is only a glimpse of what has been accomplished by the class of 2019 in their 4 years at the regional, not to mention their amazing academic successes. When these students started these adventures and accomplishments, they were not guaranteed success. They were guaranteed a chance of success, and they deserve to be recognized for that. As you find yourself walking down the path they call life, remember that only you can limit who and what you become. Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Thank you.
And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, the salutatorian for the class of 2019, Lily Knudsen.
Chic, business, mostly neutrals, but with statement pieces and a flash of the avant-garde. After taking 2 BuzzFeed quizzes and doing a fair bit of soul searching, That is what I concluded college Lily's personal clothing style would be. With this in mind, I went to my closet and started weeding out all the clothes that didn't fit the description. Keeping my beloved blazers and getting rid of a bunch of sweaters I didn't even remember owning. I began to decide what would come with me and what I'd leave behind. While I doubt that many of you have done such a methodical personal redesign, most of us are likely going into the biggest transition in our lives thus far. We're going to have to decide what we drag along and what we leave here on this field. One thing I hope we carry with us is our Hamilton Wenham education. Although we've occasionally been troubled by unusable water fountains and bathroom stall doors that don't lock, the passion and dedication of the faculty, staff, and administration has more than prepared us for what is to come, as has the support of our friends and family. Thank you all for everything you've done for us. I've lived in the same yellow house my entire life. For 13 years, I've woken up in the morning and gone to one of the Hamilton Wenham schools. In fact, my first day of kindergarten, and as a result all preceding days, was saved by my bus driver. You see, my older brother Danny was unfamiliar with the concept of kindergarten because all of the grades are numbers, and then we decided to throw in one German word just for kicks. He came home from Ethiopia in 3rd grade, so he'd never personally experienced kindergarten. As I rode a transfer bus, which anyone who did chorus will remember stopped at Bucher before heading to Cutler, my elementary school, and the best one, Danny asked me on my first day getting on the bus, "What grade are you in?" "Kindergarten," I said. No, he said, reasonably confused. "That is your school. What grade are you in?" "Kindergarten," I replied. We went on like that for a while before he sighed and gave up on me. When the bus stopped at Bucher, he told me, "This is your school. Get out." I obeyed. As I was at the bottom step of the bus, Allison, the bus driver previously mentioned, asked, "Aren't you Jacob's sister?" I nodded. "This isn't your stop," she said, so I climbed back onto the bus. We drove off towards the right school and my first exciting day of kindergarten. For the following 13 years, I've seen the same faces and been supported by the same community. There has been a steady, plodding rhythm to life here. You all mean so much to me. However, the community we share is about to disperse. As much as I'd love to pack a bunch of you up in a suitcase and fly you to Nashville with me, I don't think you'd fit, and you have plans of your own. Except Tucker, I get to keep him around for a while longer. Our memories of this place and of these people, and hopefully of this speech, will fade from the vivid colors of now to an iridescent gray, from headlines to, from personal narratives to headlines only. It is rare that we face a transition so clearly marked as this one. Most life changes occur gradually. Our surroundings slowly shift until they are unrecognizable, and we are as well. Not today. Quiet, slow talker, barely speaks, slow to process, slow to complete assignments, shy, wanders aimlessly. My kindergarten teacher wrote this less than flattering report in September of 2006. Thankfully for everyone here, things have changed. I don't know when I went from barely speaks to delivering 2 different graduation addresses. I know that at some point I did ditch quiet and although I still do things slowly, and I traded insecurity for the aforementioned blazer collection and maybe a little bit too much confidence. We're going into our futures all high school inexperienced, and we're going to change. It's as exciting as it is alarming. So take a moment to acknowledge the shy kid who wanders aimlessly. Your past self and this whole place, it will always be with you somewhere. This is a time of opportunity and new experiences, and a radical shift from the lives we've known. I hope we encounter these opportunities, not primarily with fear, but with enthusiasm. Each of us is going to be important in some way. And I don't mean that as an encouragement, although I imagine you wish I did, so much as a reminder of duty. The things we all do are going to matter. Just like it mattered when one observant bus driver saved my first day of kindergarten, or when Mr. Bucci got so excited talking about the Giotto paintings that I remember the entire Renaissance unit, and that was freshman year. Or when Miss Maney asked if I was okay because I kept falling asleep in the front row of her AP Psych class. By the way, sorry to Miss Maney. Or when we raised money for numerous causes through HW Gives Back. It's easy to fall into a state of apathy as individuals in a world that sometimes feels like it's out of our control. Right now, we're full of ideas, dreams, hopes, and probably more than a few trepidations. We're designing and redesigning our future selves with vigor, yet soon the rush of jumping off the ledge might be stolen by the wind. The world can somehow feel both overwhelming and dull. For example, the temperature is rising at an alarming rate on this planet, yet as one person, I don't feel like my hand is on the thermostat of the earth. How can my actions or yours possibly matter? A lot of people will tell you that now is the time to dream big, shoot for the stars, or be great, as Mr. Tracy is fond of saying. Personally, I don't particularly care what you shoot for or how great you are. All I'm asking is for y'all to be good. Do whatever you do and do it well. Be hardworking, be kind to people, be open to new experiences, be honest, welcoming, helpful, and caring, and vote. Please, please vote. It's our turn now. It's easy to believe that our actions, and by extension, we don't matter. And I'm not one to claim that we hold the world in our individual hands to save or to destroy. It's easy to assume that because we are mere specks on the cosmic scale, what we do as individuals is somehow meaningless. But we don't live solely in reference to the cosmos. We live as people, day to day, interacting with other people, each of whom contain 1 million thoughts and 37 trillion cells straining to live well. Each of us contains universes, so our actions, day to day, matter on a cosmic scale. Remember that and factor it into your redesigns. But that's a tall order to give in a speech I already told you you'd forget. So maybe just listen to me for the rest of the day. Honor this one transition. Honor the person you've been and the people you are going to become. Honor the people around you. Say goodbye to this place and to each other, especially to those who you won't keep in touch with and to the things you are going to abandon. This is it. Mourn and rejoice. When you decide who you will be and what you will do, know that your actions matter. It's a responsibility that you are ready to take on. Congratulations, Hamilton Wenham class of 2019.
Thank you, Lily. And as a follow-up, our valedictorian, Sean Lee.
Hello. I'd like to welcome all faculty and staff, friends, family, and distinguished guests to the ceremony. The Hamilton Wenham class of 2019 owes you lifetimes of gratitude, and no doubt countless apologies, but today is for thanking people. The diplomas we received today mark 4 years' growth of intellect and character, but we're also remembering the stress, sleep deprivation, failures, fear, and pain we survived on the way. So classmates, thank someone who inspired you, and thank someone who helped subsidize that emotional toll. And please thank yourselves for making it here, because we all made that choice with varying difficulty. So I'll start. Mr. Shipman, thank you for teaching me how to approach hard problems, showing us mathematics is everywhere, accurately predicting snow days, making remarkable sacrifices to mentor General's robotics this year, and listening to me vent amid the havoc of competition. To all employees and volunteers at Hamilton Wenham, thank you for investing in the future. And a special thanks to the Hamilton Wenham Ed Fund for making our new robotics team possible this year and granting other opportunities. Right, time for a disclaimer. I won't spare you the esoteric physics terms or philosophical ramblings some of you may know me for, but you can breathe easy with the assurance I won't be roasting anyone by name. I struggled to write this speech, and in keeping with tradition, I wrote it not too long ago. I knew I didn't want to insert empty platitudes or paraphrase the most watched graduation speeches on YouTube, but the problem is that with unlike a literature essay, we're all reflecting on vastly different experiences. Some of us didn't even read A Tale of Two Cities. You know who you are. So rather than attempt to consolidate our Hamilton Wenham years under one theme, let's talk about what graduation doesn't mean. Graduation doesn't mean we can call ourselves great yet. Yes, we all have something to be proud of. Will Hogan was class president for 4 consecutive years. Michelle Morency babysat everyone's kids. Richard Paul and Jake Lemons both became Eagle Scouts. Brendan Callahan became one of us. Margaret Brown and Aidan Heedy won the Art All-State. Lauren Verge and Lily Santamena won the amphibious vehicle race. Henry Smith made tic-tac-toe in computer science. Liz Gazarowski led the girls' soccer team as a junior. Carolyn Moore raised money for the Walk for Hunger. Jake Sturm aced the humanities midterm. Hollis Mann mentored kids as a tutor and camp counselor. The Glovsky twins are everyone's role models. Lily Wainwright and Emmy Whitehead outsmarted us all by putting their own happiness first. Billy Whalen scored over 1,000 points in basketball. Susana Martinez gave medical aid to indigenous people in the mountains of Ecuador. And I ran out of AP number labels. But we can do better, and we ought to take pleasure in doing, not having done. Otherwise, we'll get complacent and waste time sitting on our laurels. Nor does graduation mean we're ready for adulthood, because most of us still have no idea what we're doing. Except Emily Minster, of course, whose 2036 presidential campaign I'd like to endorse in advance. She'll be appointing Julia Soriel as Surgeon General, by the way, so remember to vote. Most of us have spent years sheltered in affluent and insular suburbia, and graduation doesn't mean we leave this stage equipped to solve hard problems unguided. Even the brilliant teachers of Hamilton Wenham can't teach us to navigate contradictions and cruelty outside the bubble. That will take decades of trial and error. I'd argue this ceremony means nothing on its own. That's because life itself has no implicit meaning. Think about it. We are just self-aware patterns of indifferent molecules, and the universe has no substrate of narrative inviting us to latch on. There's nothing to orient us towards significant lives like dipoles and magnetic field, but in less pretentious language, we have to create meaning. I say we have to because a meaningful identity is part of survival. Once that school year calendar fell away last summer, the rigid school year calendar, I became miserable with a kind of hopeless inertia. It didn't matter that Lily Ting, Tucker Apgar, and another group member won National History Day in June. Nothing mattered because I had only derived worth from grades and medals and the 5-digit metric that qualified me to speak today. Relying on temporary tokens of success was not viable, so when external validation ceased, I had no idea who I was. So what do I mean? We all know life sucks way more often than it needs to, but we can avoid collapsing into nothing with a concrete foundation for who we are, impervious to prolonged inactivity, gamma radiation, and so on. We need to function independent of artificial gratification like the title valedictorian, because we will have a lot of problems to solve and no time to dwell on how good we might look solving them. Moreover, we can't solve every one of those problems, and life won't let us do everything we want to. Most of us are used to tacking on a litany of extracurriculars to impress committees, but as adults, how do we live with ourselves when we can't do everything that matters? I have no answer, but all I can say is do what you can, and don't apologize for asserting your moral intuition when making sacrifices. In the same way we have to create meaning, we have to define our own ethics. I wish morality was as objective as physics, but ideas of good and bad aren't attributes of space-time like gravity or electromagnetism. And though as a species we've evolved common sentiment of right and wrong, it's on the individual to distill exact criteria for what that means. Now, I don't mean to imply decisions should paralyze us just because we lack an absolute frame of reference. My point is that decisions require introspection. Think about who you are and don't forget. Right, with that said, class of 2019, congratulations. I know we all want to get our diplomas and get out of here, and Lily Knudsen needs to go become Director General of the World Health Organization. I'm sure Jack McMahon will make a documentary about us someday, so let's make sure it's a good one. I'll let you make sense of graduation for yourselves now. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. There'll be a full translation of that speech on the website after graduation. This past January, the hot topic of discussion at the World Economic Forum was that of the fourth industrial revolution. It is being called by some a time that is blurring the lines between physical, digital, and biological spheres. I believe it is a time that will be destined to make your future lives dramatically different because of the accelerated integration of artificial intelligence, blockchain, the Internet of Things, robotics, biotechnology, nanotechnology, and even quantum computing. As these new innovations work in unison to make our lives easier, our homes smarter, our currency digital, our cars driverless, and our data more accessible, I urge you to remember that these technologies can also widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Conversely, they can also work to save lives. Think about a robot being able to go into a remote jungle to treat an out-of-control Ebola virus, never putting a human medical practitioner in harm's way. As this revolution supercharges the work and home environments, it will also drive your everyday reality. You will constantly be put in the position to learn new ways to update and improve your personal and technical skills, including digital literacy, so that you can continue to be employable while being able to navigate and understand the world around you. Remember, it has not been easy for any of us to navigate the fairly new world of fake news. What does all this mean for you as a member of the class of 2019? I believe the things you have learned through your time in our school system have given you the basic skills necessary for future success. However, it is imperative that you understand you will be in a constant conveyor belt of learning throughout your lives. You will need to understand how you learn and the ways to determine which technologies will help you to learn more efficiently. More than likely, it will not be in a classroom setting. As you are improving yourself, realize that you'll need to be comfortable with failure as well. Henry Ford said, failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Take the time to understand where and why things may have gone wrong. Don't just walk away. Don't give up. Also realize that failure may be a different success in disguise. Either way, it is imperative that you keep a positive mindset and bounce back from that failure without letting it take the wind out of your sails. Sometimes the wind will stop blowing for no reason at all, but you must use your skills to keep the boat moving forward anyway. Given all this talk about technology and hyperconnectivity, don't forget about the most important connection of them all, the human connection. While many areas of our lives may be taken over by massive changes in technology in the decades to come, the most important changes globally will still be driven by us, the human factor. As this new revolution continues to impact your lives, some human jobs will be completely automated and others will disappear altogether. But I believe our human opportunities will continue to evolve because of our most basic need as people. The one constant will continue to be the ways we interact socially. We humans need each other. It will be important for you to continue to hone the skills necessary to make personal and face-to-face connections. Clearly, I can't predict the future, so none of what I have talked about today may ever happen. Either way, commit to constantly improving your body and your mind so that your future can evolve as quickly as the technologies around you. Congratulations to all of our graduates. I am proud of you. I will miss you. I look forward to all of your future successes. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Michael Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Tracy. I always have the dubious honor of being the last thing between you and diplomas. So I'm going to give you a couple of quick pieces of advice, but I'll promise I'm going to make it brief. For the last 2 weeks now, you guys have been celebrating your accomplishments, and they are all very worthy. Great accomplishments that we've seen through, even building a human-powered boat across the pond. It's just amazing stuff that you've all done over the last 4 years, and actually, for a lot of you, 13 years in the school district. But my first piece of advice is to remember that all of those accomplishments are built on the accomplishments and sacrifices of those who have come before you. And in a couple of minutes, you're going to get a diploma, which is actually a symbol of those sacrifices and those accomplishments. You're going to see that diploma, and there's a couple of names on it. First one is yours, and it's the biggest name on the diploma, and that's why it should be. Those are your accomplishments, and you should be proud of all of them. But there's also some other names on there. Mr. Tracy's name is on that. And that name represents all of the teachers and faculty and staff of Hamilton-Wenham Regional High School. My name is on it, and that represents all of the teachers of the entire Hamilton-Wenham Regional School District. And we have them here today, and I'd like to ask them to stand and be recognized. Please stand. There's another name on the diploma, and that's the name of the school committee chair, Mr. David Polito. And Mr. Polito represents the entire school committee, and in turn, they represent the entire communities of Hamilton and Wenham. And I'd like to ask our members of the school committee who are here with us today, I know there's a few around, please stand and be recognized. And again, as I said, they represent the entire communities and their sacrifices for all of the things that they have done for you to get you to this moment. All of the people who have volunteered as coaches and as scoutmasters, all along your life, people have volunteered and put themselves out there to get you to this moment. The second piece of advice I have for you is to remember that now your turn is here. You're responsible for giving back to the community like so many gave to get you here. And we're going to start that right now. Parents, get your cameras ready. I want you all to stand up, turn around, and find who's here with you. Find them. Find them, wave to them, and say, thank you. Thank you for all those late night poster boards and all of those drives to practice. Thank you to all of those people who are here with you today. Okay, they got their pictures. You can sit back down now. Remember that. Now it's your turn. Go out and give back. Make this world a better place than where you found it. Because you have a responsibility to do that because of everything that everyone has done to get you here. So, Now it's my great honor to certify that the students assembled before me have met all of the requirements for a diploma from Hamilton Wenham Regional High School. Congratulations, class of 2011.
Connor Evan Alberry. Joseph Gary Allen. Samuel Ridley Andrew Nichols. Tucker Lee Apgar. Dante Luca Bacchini. James Marco Bacchini. Lucas Matthew Bailey. Christian Cole Barrasso. Victoria Marie Belial. Chloe Marie Bellavo. Grace Rita Britannia. Gabriel Moses Bertu. Austin Mackenzie Black. Adam Colin Blanchard. Emma O'Shea Brophy. Margaret Alice Brown. Vanessa Elise Brown. Evan Richard Bucci. Brendan Charles Callahan. Eliza Reese Campbell. Thomas Robert Colucci. Jenna Elizabeth Conley. Emma Marie Connors. Benjamin Liam Cook. Samantha Jacqueline Cook. Abigail Rose Coughlin. Sydney Mark Kramer. Emily Grace Currier. Megan Lee Cutter. Aiden O'Donnell Daly. Robert Thomas Donovan. Alexander Parada Eats. Catherine Reed Everett. Jonathan Luzada Felix. Matthew Robert Fields. Thomas Winslow Flynn. Riley Kathleen Folger. Jarrett James Fravel. Daphne T. K. Freeman. Diera Margaret Garcia. Elizabeth Mary Gazarowski. Aiden Francis Gibson. Benjamin Brinzer Gingrich. Nicholas Andrew Glovsky. William Christopher Glovsky. Clinton Rock Gordell. Shay Chuen Bernice. Andrew Jonathan Lacey Gregory. Cameron Charles Geyer. Jake Jahan Safari Harrison. Aiden Patrick Keeney. William Ferrick Hogan. Mackenzie Ann Hooker. Paul Daniel Horgan. Peter Joseph Hostler. Annabelle Dooling Howley. Giles Gaffney Hubbard. Callum Von Hunt. Aiden Michael Hurst. Isabella Rose Joden. Henry Peter Jones. Ethan John Joyle. Michael John Katsiris. Madeline Cassidy Katz. Quinlan Martin Kelly. Olivia Jane Curria. Dimitri John Lara. James Etheridge Lemons. Eli Christopher Leonard. Samuel Lawrence Lombardo. Nico Joseph Lusant. Amanda May Lowry. Miranda Lee Majowski. Olivia DeForest Malloy. Hollis Beresford Mann. Bridget Elizabeth Marshall. Susanna Grace Martinez. Greta Mastrocola. Ella Catherine McCrae. Paige Kelly McKechnie. Jack Aiden McMahon. Eliza Pewters Neal. Maria Angelo Mamateus. Niall Griffin Merritt. Thor Sebastian Messer. Sheridan Lee Metternich. Emily Hurst Minster. Thomas Frank Monahan. Carolyn Elizabeth Moore. Emmy Lou Morales. Michelle Lane Morency. Michael James Moynihan. Josh Anthony Munoz. Sebastian Burkett Murray Brown. Jacob Robert Nyes. Aiden Joseph Nissel. Ty Noguchi Uribe. Maria Eduarda Noguera de San Martins. Alexander Dunham Lestrand. Shannon Rose O'Toole. Richard David Paul. Megan Chi Peterson. Elizabeth Grace Phillips. Hazen Louis Paulsonetti. Julia Elizabeth Putnam. Michael William Rebello. Nathan Michael Reed. Haley Eileen Rivers. Christopher Thomas Rooney. Mark Patrick Roselli. Sabine Lila Ryan. Lillian Todd Santamena. Julia Carol Sorio. Caden Shea Sawyer. Peter Henry Shibley. Isabella M. Schwartz. Michael Andrew Seeger. Ashlyn Beth Smith. Bryn Elise Claire Smith. Henry William Smith. Jack Thomas Smith. Ella Jeanette Stock. Jake Holden Sturham. Garrison Culver Thomas. Lily Catherine Ting. Pearson Lee Trologan Tachi. Eliza Goodwin Toomey. Emily Lottie Vanderwelden. Lauren Helen Burge. Tyler Joseph Beasy. Lily Parson Wainwright. Emily Hope Ward. Samuel Dean Weber. William Joseph Whalen. Emmy Colvin Whitehead. Drew Cameron Willis. Valerie Jean Wise. Everett Gray Watson. Philip Reese Worstel. Rose Marie Usepka. Natalia Lorenzano Young. Devin Gray Zelk. Lily Carolyn Knutson. Sean Edward Lee. I would like to now welcome the senior class president, Mr. William Hogan.
Thank you. Please excuse my sniffling. I'm pretty sure pollen has some sort of personal vendetta against me. First off, I would like to say it has been a privilege to serve as your class president these past 4 years. I would also like to thank our advisors, my fellow student council members, the faculty, the students, the family members, and everyone who made our high school experience the best it could be. In particular, I would like to thank Mr. Walsh, who over the past 4 years has spent countless hours helping the class. Without him, none of this would have been possible. At the start of my high school career, I imagined that in 4 years, I would look back and remember the big events. Prom, homecoming, graduation, playoff games, you get the idea. However, as I stand in front of you today, 4 years older, I cannot say that this is the truth. Reflecting on my high school career over the past few weeks, the experiences that have stood out to me the most are the small ones. cramming for a test in power block, eating lunch with my friends, and even waking up at 4:45 to go to hockey practice. Each of us have memories like these, from musical rehearsals to sports team practices, mock trial meetings to the famed DECA dances. The experiences of the class of 2019 are incredibly diverse. These small moments, which at the time may have seemed mundane and in some cases even annoying, have formed the core of our high school experience. More than that, however, these countless moments have forged a lifelong bond between us. So as we take our final step together as the class of 2019, rest assured that although most of us will never share a classroom again, we will always be high school friends. And from what I'm told, those are the best kind. And now, in the words of the greatest man to ever live, Thomas Brady, let's go end this thing.